Bonjour, Konbini. My name's Nelly Furtado, and this is the playlist of my life. The first song I've chosen for my playlist is Carro Preto by Jorge Freire.
Carro preto, essa tua cor maldita.
Jorge Freire was like the voice of the immigrant experience. So he played a very sort of like traditional like island pop style that he sort of created that sound about the Azores. My first performance as a child when I was 4 was a Jorge Freire song in my church. And it was a song he originally wrote with his daughter called Pai, but my mom and I changed it to Mai. So I did a duet with my mother and it was a Jorge Freire song and I was 4 years old. So Carro Preto, this song by Jorge Freire, is one of his best songs. And just his music has a certain nostalgia to the people of os Açores, especially the immigrants that have immigrated all across North America, probably around the world, maybe even in France. The second song I've chosen is Rhyme Dust by Dolla.
I get my rhyme on dust.
Honestly, so I met Dolla. He's an Australian DJ, tech house DJ, very popular around the world. And we became friends a couple years ago and started making music more. Like, I reached out to him because I saw he was playing the same festival as me in Australia because he's Australian. And this concert was the first concert I had played in over 5 years. So I finally met him in person at the festival and I sang with him. I did a really cool remix of Say It Right with him for his set, and he closed the set at midnight. And Rhyme Dust is one of my favorite Dolla songs. When I perform with him at like raves and clubs, we've done Lollapalooza, Coachella, whenever I watch his sets, my favorite song is Rhyme Dust. The third song I chose on the playlist is Nada by Lilo Pimienta. Oh my gosh, so Lilo Pimienta is one of my closest friends. She's an artist from Colombia, and basically meeting her because she's also a mom and she's an artist and she tours. So we really find strength in each other's journeys as mothers who are trying to honor motherhood and our art at the same time, which is a new concept, I think, for today's woman experience, female experience. So we have to like lift each other up. And I remember kind of like trying to like get healthy again and getting in the mind space for this new project and listening to Nada by Lilo Pimienta because it really talks of the female struggle and just it kind of has this like, you feel like you're climbing a mountain, and I would actually climb the treadmill while I listen to Nada. The next song on the playlist is Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven.
When I look to the west and my spirit is crying for leaving.
I am from quite a small town in Canada called Victoria, British Columbia. That's where I was born. So my parents, they immigrated there, but I was born there. So going to small junior high and high schools in Victoria, BC, I'm not sure who started this tradition, but at the end of every school dance, like a school formal, the last song they played was Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. And I think this culture started because it was a 7-minute song. And so everybody thought that if they played a 7-minute song at the end, the kids or whoever would have more of a chance to like make out to the long song at the end. So every time you're at a dance at school, like I mean like grade school, like your grade 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you'd hear ding, 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 ding. It's just like, it's so funny. It's like the programming of the teens. And it's weird because it's a song from the 70s. And my father did have that LP. He had that on vinyl at our home. Like he had an old school, like beautiful German-made stereo system and all these vinyls. He collected, I think in the 70s. Stairway to Heaven. Yeah, like I feel like it's a song of my life because I just remember hearing it and being like, well, a boy asked me to dance. Well, somebody asked me to dance. The next song on my list is Malibu by Hole.
Oh, baby, drive away to Malibu.
So I remember moving to Toronto when I was 18 years old, like fresh out of high school. No, I was 17, just because my sister lived there. Like we didn't have money for college or anything. And I just graduated high school and I was like, oh, oh, school's over. What am I going to do? Oh, I love music. I can't make it in Victoria. Maybe if I move to Toronto. So I like moved to Toronto with no plan. I kind of lied to my mom and said I'd be back for Christmas, slept on my sister's sofa, and thought I was going to be famous in like 2 months. I thought I would make music, but then I learned very quickly it doesn't work that way. And so I had a band. It was like a trip hop band. And then like at the time I was discovering like Hole and other bands like that, like Live Through This, the whole album. And I just remember feeling depressed and just sitting like listening to Hole and being like 18 years old and have $20 in my pocket and like go out on the subway maybe for one night out, you know. But then for some reason I just really loved when she came back with the Celebrity Skin album by Hole, because it had this aesthetic that was kind of like slick, but the music was like produced a different way, but it was still very cool. And Malibu is this very special song, and it just takes you somewhere right from the very first like 4 bars with the guitars. Yeah. The next song is Last Goodbye by Jeff Buckley.
This is our last embrace. Must I dream and always see your face?
So Jeff Buckley, very important artist in my life. I discovered Jeff Buckley when I was about 18 years old. I think just as I was discovering him, I think he passed away that year. He unfortunately died drowning, I think, in the Mississippi River. His album had such an impact, his debut album, which was called Grace. He was influenced by Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, the great Qawwali singer from Pakistan. I think listening to Jeff Buckley sort of like taught me that I could use many, many influences in my music if I wanted to. And there's a purity to his voice. Last Goodbye is a beautiful song, and he's really influenced many, 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 many artists. The next song on my playlist is Caetano Veloso, Fora da Ordem.
Alguma coisa fora da ordem, fora da nova ordem mundial.
Caetano Veloso is my hero. It's like 100% my favorite artist in the whole world of all time. Caetano Veloso is almost 80 years old, and he is still touring, making albums, creative as ever, so like potent. But he has always been, so he's like an icon to me because he's lived such an interesting life. Fora da Ordem was more of a political type of statement when Caetano put this song out. And just the whole history of like the sort of military regime at the time when he was making music with Gilberto Gil, and they were both imprisoned. And I even started to write a musical about this at one point in my 30s. That's how much I love him. The next song on the playlist is Boyz II Men, Water Runs Dry.
Let's don't wait till the water runs dry.
Boyz II Men was the first concert I ever attended when I was 15. So I grew up in a small town where you had to catch an actual boat to get to a concert, like a 2-hour boat ride, a ferry ride to Vancouver. So for some act of God, our parents all let us go together to this concert by ourselves to Vancouver with some older cousins, you know. And we went over to Vancouver. We stayed the night. We went to Boyz II Men. We made posters on sheets. Usher opened for Boyz II Men and Brandy. And they played that entire album. And like Water Runs Dry was like the cool like bonus track on the album. But it was like the best song, you know, it's the bonus track. And it was like, it just reminds me of being in like my friend's Jeep, you know, and driving around. We had these 2 friends. They both had Jeeps, these 2 brothers. And we would just ride around to like, you know, go to McDonald's or like living that carefree teenager life and thinking that, you know, thinking you already knew what a broken heart was, listening to Water Runs Dry. The next song on my list is You Got Me by The Roots featuring Erykah Badu.
If you were worried about when I've been a who I saw, what club I went to with my homies, baby, don't worry, you know that you got me.
Actually, this morning I listened to the entire Baduism album, Erykah Badu's debut album, and it's like flawless from beginning to end. I was, again, like maybe 17, 18 when Erykah Badu came on the scene. Just like an alien, just like, who is this woman? Where did she come from? I love her. Like the sound, the style, the authenticity, the confidence. Erykah Badu is influential to so many artists, including me. That song came on and I think I fell off the chair, like physically. I was like, oh my God. Like, this is so amazing. The last song on my playlist is Love Bites by myself featuring Tovlo and SG Lewis.
I want your body, your mind, boy, you're looking too fine.
Tovlo, SG Lewis, myself, Dom Dolla, we're all friends. We all know each other and have different connections. Tovlo is like a singing fairy. Like she's real, like she has the most angelic voice. When she started singing in the studio, I couldn't believe how magnificent her voice is. I also just love how her femininity is entirely her own, you know? Her version of sexiness is her own for her, you know? And I like that about her. It's unique and individual. You can find the playlist of my life on konbini.com.
Konbini!